tried to take care of us like we needed to be taken care of. And on our way home, we had a car accident. We flipped the car. We rolled it several times. And like I said, we had a lot of mortar attacks, and those were stressful.
Women have played a pivotal role throughout the history of the armed forces. Coming from a variety of backgrounds, women have proudly served both their state and their nation. Command Sergeant Major Jana Harrison is one of these women who have proudly served and has been seen as a role model and a trailblazer in the Kansas National Guard.
Well, after we did the swear-in, and Colonel Eckert swore us in, after we did that, they said, oh, you gotta have your parents sign off on this. So I was like, okay, I'll get this done. And on our way home, we had a car accident. We flipped the car. We rolled it several times on this gravel road on our way back up to Denison. So I'm laying in the ditch. The ambulance is there. They're putting me on the stretcher, getting ready to haul me up out of the ditch. Here's my mom in my face. She's crying. She's all upset and everything. And she says, what were you doing that you're in such a big hurry? I said, well, you know, it doesn't make any difference, Mom. I joined the National Guard today. Well, the crying stopped. She was mad. Thank goodness, they took me to the hospital and got me away from her. But then when I got out of the hospital, I had this paperwork and I needed it signed. So she said, I'm not signing it. So I said, Pop, what are you doing? He said, oh, I'm just watching the news, what do you got? And I said, I need you to sign right there. I put an X there, and he signed off on it, and I went in to Mom, who was making supper in the kitchen. I said, ha ha, and that was it. That's how I joined the Guard.
Retired Command Sergeant Major Jana Harrison's military career began as Private Jana Ashley in 1975, during a time when few women filled the ranks in the Kansas National Guard.
When I first got into the Guard, they didn't really know what to do with us. If we went to the field, we were segregated into a separate tent for the women. They didn't want us to do any hard work. They wouldn't let us drive anything but a Jeep, and that was only if necessary. Try to take care of us like we needed to be taken care of. So that was difficult. When I started working for, at that time, Captain Gene Cross, he didn't treat us that way. I remember it was me and Cross and Patty Sweet and Bill Thompson. We were in 577s, and they took us out and showed us how to drive those 577s. And that was very exciting to me. When Cross had me out and I was driving that 577 and he was my TC, we came up to this one stream and he said, okay, you got it? And I said, I got it. And he said, okay, well, in order to get, to make a smooth transition from the bottom of the hill and the stream to get up to the other side, because it was really literally like that, he says, you want to give it some gas, don't go too fast, but give it some gas so that you're not lunging at the other side. And I said, okay, well, hang on. And I said, okay. So I gunned it. We hit that water at the bottom, and when we got to the top, he said, okay, next time, not that much gas. And I stood up and I looked up at him, and he was just covered with mud and water. He was drowned. So that was really kind of fun.
She joined the Guard as a clerk typist for the 69th Infantry Brigade, where she quickly excelled, refusing to allow the gender barriers of the time to limit her ability and potential. Her hard work granted her a full-time job for the 69th Brigade, serving in a variety of roles before transitioning to the Active Guard and Reserves in 1985.
I never really ran across anybody, especially at the 69th Brigade, that wanted to hold me back. I had to leave the 69th Brigade, which was a unit that I loved dearly, and I loved all the people there. And I was selected there to be the transportation supervisor. So within the division, 35th Division, G4, that's where I nestled in. Demonstrate constant motivation to be the best. I always had to be the best. And when I would demonstrate something, then they would give me, the next level of responsibility. So that was good. I just had to work harder.
Transferring to the 35th Infantry Division, Harrison continued to train countless logisticians, increased division readiness, and broke down interstate barriers. She additionally transitioned her shop from using manual calculations to an automated system. Her capacity for efficiency and ability to improve unit and individual readiness propelled her into the first sergeant position at the 35th ID.
At that time, we had like 7 full-timers, and when it was a huge effort to coordinate everything that needed to be coordinated for the division staff and the headquarters company. So we had like 7 full-timers, and the dynamic was basically we were like a family because we spent so much time together and so much staff interaction. As the full-timers, we were all like this. And as a matter of fact, I always said that when I was eventually able to become the first sergeant of the division HHC, I was so blessed. The key to my success there was those E9s and the way they laced every action we had to do.
In 1987, Jana Ashley became Jana Harrison after meeting her husband Roger, a Vietnam veteran who shared in Jana's passion for military service. Together they raised 3 sons, of which one is currently serving in the Navy. The Harrison family remained heavily involved in community projects, and much of Jana's later success stemmed from the constant support of her family.
My husband was really mom, dad, and confessor, and disciplinarian. Because of how big our battalion was, I like to get in the car and just get in the car and go on Friday night, and I would come home Saturday night, and I would just go to units, because I thought it was important that I spent a lot of time, and not scheduled time, just pop-in time with every one of my companies and the detachments. Extremely difficult, and my husband, he's magnificent. He was always able to handle it.
In 2002, Harrison became the Command Sergeant Major of the 169th Corps Support Squadron, where she served for 4 years, including a year-long deployment to Iraq.
I believe that if you are working hard and having fun too, that you're really doing something. I honestly remember somebody taking a picture of me trying to get out of that Humvee. I think I was on the driver's side, and I was supposed to go out on the passenger side with all our stuff on, including a mask. And I was hung up, and my butt was up in the windshield of that vehicle. And I remember all those soldiers going, "Oh!" So personally, so seriously, that I didn't have any problem at all throwing myself out there to be the entertainment for others. If it was good for morale, good for attitude, lets them know that I'm human and I like to have fun too.
During the deployment, Harrison worked relentlessly to ensure that her units and soldiers were safe and mission ready. She was a fearless combat leader, oftentimes being the first on the ground to assess casualties and initiate a response. For her acts, she was awarded both the Bronze Star and Combat Action Badge.
Like I said, we had a lot of mortar attacks, and those were stressful up until the point where you knew everybody was okay. There was nobody, everybody was accounted for and everything was good. Then you could just keep on moving. I think that the most stressful part was just knowing that I had the easy part and my husband had the hard part. I always felt like the spouses always have the most difficult part, because they're doing it all. They're doing what they do plus what you do and dealing with everything else. So.
Upon her return from deployment, Command Sergeant Major Harrison chose to retire from the Kansas National Guard in order to spend more time with her husband and her 3 teenage boys. Harrison additionally keeps busy in her off time by supporting the military in a number of ways. She's currently a charter member of the Women in Military Service for America Foundation, where she provided an oral history interview that is on display at the U.S. Army Women's Museum at Fort Lee.
I think it was probably about 2 years ago. I actually went to the Women's Army Museum at Fort Lee, Virginia, and I was asked to provide a oral history.
Command Sergeant Major Jana Harrison's honorable and exceptional service in the Kansas National Guard has spanned more than 30 years. Even in retirement, her work and lifestyle continue to bring credit upon our organization. Yet her success and ability could never have been achieved without the perseverance to face any obstacle.
It can be the same way in any workplace. Just get in there and do something about it. You got to go in there, you got to be your best, you got to work hard, try hard, don't try to stay clean all the time, and most of all, just know that you're doing the right thing at the right time for the right reason.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome our next inductee into the Kansas National Guard Hall of Fame, retired Command Sergeant Major Jana L. Harrison.